Take a moment and look at your ankle. Really look at it. Press 2 fingers into the skin just above the ankle, then pull them away. Watch closely. If the impression stays there, not for a second, not for 2, but for 30, 40, even 60 seconds before it slowly fills back in. That is not normal aging. That is not just how it is after 60. But here's the truth. Almost no one has ever sat down and explained why. Instead, what you've probably heard sounds familiar. Watch your salt. It might be your heart. Let's try a water pill. But what really happens? You spend the next 3 months running to the bathroom. By evening, your ankles are still swollen. You feel drained. And at the next visit, the answer comes with a shrug. Well, it's managed. Managed? As if the goal was simply to tolerate it more comfortably. But the reality is, there is a real mechanism behind this, and it has almost nothing to do with your heart, almost nothing to do with salt. It has everything to do with a system your body runs silently in the background, a system no one has time to explain in a 15-minute appointment. Stay with me. Because by the end of this, you'll understand your body at a level most people never reach. And more importantly, you'll have a simple habit, just 5 minutes, that can change how your legs look by tomorrow morning. Most people know they have a heart. They know arteries carry fresh blood out, veins bring it back, and the heart pumps in the middle. Simple. But that's only half the story. What's often missed, what your biology class probably skipped, is the second network. A fluid system that moves constantly, touches every single cell, and carries what blood alone cannot: cellular waste, excess proteins, debris, and most importantly, excess water. This system is called the lymphatic system, and here's the critical detail. This changes everything once you understand it. It has no pump. Your heart beats 100,000 times a day without effort. It doesn't stop. It doesn't care if you're sitting, sleeping, or sick. It just keeps going. But the lymphatic system? It doesn't work like that. It moves only when your muscles move. Every step you take, every time your calf tightens, every time your ankle flexes, that's what pushes lymph fluid upward, back toward your neck, where it re-enters your bloodstream. Stop moving, and the system stops. Think about it like a bicycle pump. The pump does nothing on its own. You have to push it. Your muscles are that handle. Every step is a pump stroke. Every ankle flex is a pump stroke. But every hour you sit completely still, that's an hour where nothing moves. Fluid begins to collect, quietly, slowly, pooling in your lower legs like water settling at the bottom of a bowl. Now here's where it becomes more serious. After 60, this process gets worse. Not suddenly, but steadily, quietly, and in 3 very specific ways. First, the lymph vessels stiffen. When you're younger, they're flexible, responsive. A short walk gets everything flowing within minutes. But over time, they lose elasticity. Just like your skin, just like your arteries. They respond slower. They drain less efficiently. Second, the tiny one-way valves inside those vessels begin to wear down. These valves are supposed to keep fluid moving forward only. When they're strong, everything works like a ratchet. Forward, forward, forward. But when they weaken, fluid can slip backward, undoing the work your muscles just did. Third, the connective tissue in your lower legs begins to loosen. This network, made of collagen and elastic fibers, normally helps guide fluid into the lymph vessels. But when it loosens, fluid leaks into the surrounding space and just sits there, like water trapped in a sponge instead of being drained away. 3 changes happening at once: fluid leaking faster, draining slower, and nowhere structured for it to go. That's the equation your ankles are living inside every single day. But before going further, there's something important, something you cannot ignore. If one leg is swelling more than the other, especially if it started suddenly in the past day or 2, and the skin feels warm or painful, that could indicate a deep vein thrombosis, a clot in the leg. That is not something to manage at home. That requires immediate medical attention. If both legs are swelling and you're experiencing shortness of breath, especially when lying flat, waking up unable to breathe, struggling to climb even a single flight of stairs, that points to a cardiac issue that has moved beyond early stages. That also needs immediate evaluation. And if your urine looks foamy, swelling appeared quickly over days or weeks, and your weight jumped by 4 or 5 pounds without reason, that may indicate kidney issues. That needs testing now, not later. But if your swelling is gradual, building over months or years, roughly equal in both legs, worse in the evening, better in the morning after lying flat, and you have no trouble breathing at rest, then you are in the right place. Because what you're likely dealing with is a lymphatic drainage deficit. And here's the part most people never hear. It responds extremely well when you approach it the right way. Not all ankle swelling is the same. It may look identical from the outside, but underneath, the causes are completely different. And that distinction, this is where everything begins to change. There are 3 primary patterns. The first is venous. This happens when the veins that carry blood back to your heart begin to struggle. The valves inside them weaken or fail. Blood starts pooling in the lower legs. Pressure builds inside the vessel walls, and then fluid is pushed outward into the surrounding tissue. The signs are often visible: rope-like or twisted veins across the legs, a brownish, rust-colored staining around the ankle and lower shin, and swelling that gets dramatically worse after long hours of standing. The second pattern, the one we are focusing on, is lymphatic. And here's the reality. This is the most common pattern in people over 60 who do not have heart or kidney disease. The swelling is soft, puffy. When you press it, it leaves a dent, a pit, that slowly fills back in. It often spreads across the top of the foot, creating that raised, swollen ridge just behind the toes. But what's truly telling, what stands out to a trained eye, is what happens over time. The skin on the top of the foot begins to thicken. It feels dense, almost leathery. You try to pinch it, but you can't. It's stuck, adhered to the tissue beneath, as if it's been glued down. That one detail alone reveals more than most people realize. The third pattern is cardiac or renal, when the heart cannot pump efficiently, or the kidneys are not filtering properly. Yes, swelling appears in both legs, but it never comes alone. There's always a combination. Fatigue that limits what you can do, frequent nighttime urination that disrupts sleep, rapid weight gain without any clear change in eating, and breathlessness with even mild effort, something that wasn't there before. If these symptoms are present, this is not something to manage casually. It needs proper medical evaluation. But here's what's important. Many people over 60, with gradual symmetric swelling that worsens in the evening and improves by morning, fall into that second category, the lymphatic pattern. And that's where things become surprisingly hopeful. Because the lymphatic system doesn't necessarily need medication. It doesn't need something new added in. What it needs is to be reactivated, reminded, restarted. Let me tell you about someone. Let's call her Margaret. Margaret is 71. She spent 35 years working as an accountant. Precise, organized, the kind of person who doesn't miss details. For about 3 years, she had been dealing with ankle swelling. Both legs, symmetrical, worse in the evening, nearly gone in the morning. A classic presentation. By the time she sought help, she had already gone through everything. Cardiac testing. Echocardiogram. Normal. Ejection fraction at 58%, well within range. Kidney function. Normal. She had been on a diuretic for 14 months. She cut salt aggressively from her diet. She followed every instruction she was given. And yet, every night around 8:00 p.m., her ankles were still swollen. So swollen she couldn't remove her rings. But then, there was one detail. One moment that changed everything. The previous summer, her grandchildren came to visit for a week. And during that week, she was constantly moving. Chasing a 3-year-old, walking to the park, going up and down stairs, active, all day long. And something unexpected happened. Her ankles improved, better than they had been in years. Then the grandchildren left. Life returned to normal. And within 4 days, the swelling came back. That detail, better with sustained movement, worse with prolonged sitting, that is the signature of the lymphatic system. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Margaret wasn't inactive. She wasn't sedentary in the way most people imagine. She walked to her mailbox. She cooked. She stayed somewhat active. But she also sat for 4 to 6 uninterrupted hours every single day. And that was enough. Because the lymphatic system doesn't care about how many total steps you take in a day. It cares about consistency. It cares about how often your calf muscles are contracting, keeping that fluid moving upward. 4 hours of stillness? That's 4 hours of backup. Even if you walk 20 minutes in the morning, it doesn't undo what happens during those long, uninterrupted periods of sitting. Now here's where things become even more important, because there are factors, quiet, often overlooked, that actively make lymphatic drainage worse. The first is sodium, and not the obvious kind. Not the salt shaker on your table. That's easy to control. The real issue comes from hidden sources: bread, cottage cheese, canned vegetables, processed meats, seasoning packets, restaurant soups. That's where sodium accumulates. And sodium has a precise effect. It pulls water out of your bloodstream and into your tissues. Some estimates suggest your body may retain several cups of water for each gram of excess sodium consumed. So even if you think you've reduced salt, the reality may be very different. The second factor is evening sitting, that quiet period between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m., when the day is done, when you finally sit back, relax, and rest. But here's the problem. That is exactly when your legs need movement the most. 3 hours of stillness in the evening means 3 hours of fluid accumulating. And that fluid doesn't just disappear, it has to be reabsorbed overnight, often disrupting your sleep in the process. And the third factor is alcohol. This one is often overlooked, but even moderate alcohol intake can interfere with fluid balance. It dilates small blood vessels, allowing more fluid to leak into surrounding tissue. At the same time, it suppresses the hormone that helps your body regulate urine production at night. The result? More fluid entering your legs, and more trips to the bathroom when you're trying to sleep. Now here's the key point. You don't have to eliminate everything, but you do need to understand what's happening beneath the surface. Because without addressing these triggers, even the best habits will only deliver partial results. And before moving forward, ask yourself something honestly. Which one is affecting you the most right now? Is it the hidden sodium in everyday foods? The long, quiet hours of evening sitting? Or that nightly drink you didn't think mattered? Because the answer to that question changes what happens next. Before jumping into the solution, there's something most people get wrong, and it sounds logical at first, but really, it works against you. Water. If your legs are already holding fluid, the instinct is to drink less, but the truth is the opposite. Dehydration makes lymph thick, sluggish, harder to move. But when your body is well hydrated, lymph becomes thinner, flows more freely, and drains more efficiently. The goal is simple: roughly half your body weight in fluid ounces spread throughout the day. But taper it off after late afternoon, so it doesn't all hit your bladder at midnight. Then there's something even more overlooked: flavonoids. These compounds found in dark berries, red and purple grapes, citrus pith, and red cabbage. They strengthen the walls of your capillaries. Less leaking from the inside means less work for the lymphatic system. It's not dramatic overnight, but over 6 to 8 weeks, the effect becomes measurable. And protein, specifically albumin. This surprises a lot of people. Albumin is a protein in your blood that helps hold water inside your vessels through osmotic pressure. When albumin levels drop, which is common in adults over 65 who aren't getting enough protein, fluid leaks out more easily. 2 quality servings a day: eggs, fish, legumes, Greek yogurt. Simple, but powerful. Now, everything builds to this: the 5-minute protocol. This is where theory ends and results begin. But here's the key. It's not just what you do, it's when you do it. Timing matters. First, the morning wake-up, before your feet even touch the floor, while you're still lying in bed. Do 30 ankle pumps. Point your toes away, then flex them back toward your face. 30 full repetitions. It takes less than a minute. But what it really does is wake up the lymphatic system before gravity pulls fluid downward again. Second, the hourly reset. Every hour you sit, break it. Set a timer if you have to. At 50 minutes, stand up and do 20 heel raises. Lift onto the balls of your feet, pause, then lower down. If standing is difficult, stay seated and pump your toes up and down 20 times. 30 seconds. That's all. But across an entire day, this prevents hours of complete stagnation. Third, the pre-dinner walk. 5 minutes. Not after dinner, before. Walk around your home, your yard, your street. The location doesn't matter. What matters is activation. Walking engages the deep calf muscles in a way seated movement cannot. This is your last full-body pump before the evening slowdown begins. Fourth, and this is the core, the evening drain sequence, 90 minutes before bed, 15 minutes total. Lie down near a wall or on your bed with support. Lift your legs so your heels are above your hips, and your hips above your heart. It doesn't have to be perfect. What matters is inversion, letting gravity finally work for you instead of against you. Then follow this sequence, minutes 1 through 5, slow ankle circles, 10 rotations clockwise, 10 counterclockwise on each foot, controlled, full range. Minutes 5 through 10, slow alternating ankle flexes, point and flex, 1 foot at a time, deliberate. Each movement acts like a pump, pushing fluid upward. Minutes 10 through 15, deep diaphragmatic breathing, 1 hand on your abdomen. Inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4, hold for 2, exhale through your mouth for 6. What most people don't realize is this: your diaphragm, as it moves, compresses the thoracic duct, the central channel of your lymphatic system. This is one of the most powerful internal pumps your body has. After 15 minutes, slowly sit up. Then finish with something simple, but incredibly effective. Using the flat of your fingers, not the tips, gently but firmly stroke upward from your ankle to your knee, always toward the heart. 10 long strokes on each leg. It's not complicated. It's not flashy. But it works. Many people notice something within 30 minutes, the urge to urinate. That's not coincidence. That's fluid finally being cleared. On your schedule, not at 2 a.m. while you're trying to sleep. Now, there are 2 quick tests you can do right now to understand exactly where you stand. The first, the pit test. Press your thumb firmly into your shin, about 4 inches above your ankle. Hold it for 15 seconds, then release. If an indentation remains and takes more than 10 seconds to disappear, that's pitting edema. Mild cases fade within 30 seconds. Moderate can last a minute or more. Severe cases persist for several minutes. Record what you see today and compare again in 2 weeks. The second, the stemmer sign. Try to pinch the skin on the top of your foot, just behind your second toe. If it lifts easily, your lymphatic flow is still functioning reasonably well. But if it feels thick, immovable, almost stuck down, that's a positive sign of chronic lymphatic congestion. Now here's what to do tonight. Do the pit test and note your result. Identify one hidden source of sodium in your diet this week and replace it. Take a 5-minute walk before dinner, 90 minutes before bed, complete the 15-minute leg elevation sequence. And tomorrow morning, start your day with 30 ankle pumps before your feet hit the floor. Do this consistently for 14 days. Then test again. Because your ankles are not aging badly. That's not the truth. What's really happening is a drainage system that stopped receiving the signals it needs to function properly. Give it the right signals, at the right time, consistently. And the response won't be subtle. You'll see it in the mirror. You'll feel it in your shoes. You'll notice it the first morning you wake up. And don't feel the need to press your fingers into your own skin just to check. If this helped you understand what's really going on, leave a comment and share what you've been experiencing. Hit like if you found this useful, and subscribe for more practical insights like this. Your feedback matters, and it helps bring this kind of information to more people who are still searching for answers.